Greetings and welcome to the channel. My name is Dr. Gyesie, transformational coach here at Inner Mileage, where we help folks understand the trauma basis of their limiting self-beliefs and how to take inspired action to create and live resonant lives right here. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the divine delay, why empaths struggle to remember who they are. And the reason for this is because there comes a point in every empath's journey when the pain feels much louder than purpose. And when loving people feels like a liability, and when the question burns, why can't I believe that I'm divine? Or am I really a divine person, an earth angel, a light being? This video is for every empath who knows that you carry something ancient, yet you doubt your worth, you disown your light, and you forget that you're rooted in one consciousness, unity consciousness. This isn't self-doubt. This is a spiritual interruption or a divine delay even created by trauma, created by deception, and created by soul distortion, you see? And what we're going to unmask today is why empaths forget who they are, including me for a long time, and how remembering isn't just healing, it's a recommissioning. So let's get into it. An empath is not a personality type, although it sounds like it. An empath is an energetic architecture, a soul built to mirror, metabolize, and recalibrate the emotional field of others. And the evidence for this is empaths have very active mirror neurons, which activate even in silent presence, revealing non-verbal absorption. And I talk about this often. The anterior insula, which is the seat of emotional and physical awareness in the brain, is hyperactive in empaths according to MRI data from about 10 years ago. And the vagus nerve, which is the core channel of the parasympathetic nervous system, is more easily stimulated, particularly in those with high empathy. This makes empaths physiological tune-in forks for group dynamics. Now, from a spiritual perspective, in multiple indigenous and even esoteric traditions, individuals who are empaths are known as seers, as breath holders, as feelers of the invisible, and as bearers of balance. And in the West, in recent years, this became pathologized because what was once priesthood became people-pleasing, and what was once oracular became overly or overtly emotional. And in spiritual physics, the empath is a coherence generator, meaning a soul born to stabilize emotional frequencies in chaotic systems. So why don't we know this? Because something else has rewritten your internal script, and that's the programming. So let's talk a little about this programming, or narcissistic interference, as it's also known. You see, narcissistic abuse is not just emotional pain. It is a full spectrum distortion of your energetic identity. It's not just emotional pain, it's a full throttle distortion of your energetic identity. And this kind of abuse targets you, the empath, precisely because of your wiring, or my wiring. It's because an empath is a mirror, and the narcissist needs a reflection to feel real. But here's what happens, and some may call this neurotrauma. The prolonged emotional manipulation floods the body with cortisol, the stress hormone, and adrenaline, which dulls the prefrontal cortex, which is the area for decision making, and overactivates the amygdala, which is where we process fear. As a result, the hippocampus, which is the part of the brain that holds memory, is chemically worn down, making it harder to recall how things were, how you were. This is why a lot of people who go through intense trauma say, I don't remember my childhood. I don't remember what happened to me. This is a kind of an example of spiritual amnesia. And the empath, once intuitive and radiant, now second guesses every instinct. Because the empath is no longer the voice of the divine within. The empath only hears the echo of the abuser's criticism. This is not fragility, it's not. It's a biochemical reprogramming, cortisol and oxytocin, the trauma bonding. So as a result, it begins to feel unsafe to believe that you are from the divine. Because the more divine you are, the more unsafe it feels to claim it after trauma. Why? I'll tell you. It's because your nervous system is trained to associate your light with punishment. I hear a lot of empaths saying, this is too heavy to carry, this burden's too much, I've had enough, take it away from me. Because every time you honored your truth, yourself with truth, you were silenced. And the same way when you express your emotion, you were shamed, you're too emotional. Or whenever you set a boundary, you were punished. So now, speaking your truth feels threatening because you don't want to alienate people. Feeling love for yourself feels indulgent or even arrogant. And therefore, claiming a divine identity based on your own self-realization feels blasphemous even. That's the trauma imprinting. And it's why empaths who've escaped abuse often feel like shells of themselves, because the full expression of your spirit still feels at risk. But it's important to know that that's not your intuition speaking, that's your trauma speaking. So let's debunk that with some evidence. And let's name the evidence once and for all. You are not too sensitive. What you actually are is neurologically encoded to resonate with divine frequencies. So here's some evidence. The Heart Math Institute has done some research with MRIs and scans and such that confirm that heart-focused individuals can project emotional coherence into a shared energetic field. In other words, you can control the temperature in the room with your heart, the temperature. Also, studies in gamma brain waves show that states of love and kindness and compassion activate high frequency waves associated with spiritual insight and unity consciousness. And then, from the point of quantum entanglement, it confirms that once two energies connect, they most likely remain connected beyond space and time. That's why you still feel connected to the narcissist. From a spiritual or sacred perspective, in the Buddha Dharma, for example, bodhisattvas often delay their enlightenment to help awaken others, just like many empaths delay their own healing to soothe others first. And in African cosmology, specifically the Dagara or even the Yoruba traditions, individuals with heightened spiritual sensitivity are seen as channels of the Orisha or the elemental intelligence. And in Hermetic or Kemetic philosophy, the saying "us within, so without" implies that your inner world is not separate from divine intelligence. It's a microcosmic expression, the micro expressing the macro, or vice versa. In other words, you're not broken. You are divine memory wrapped in flesh. So reclaiming this identity is very important. It's not about fixing yourself. It's about recovering your sacred role through calibrating your nervous system, going through energetic decoding, disrupting negative affirmations and encoding them with positive affirmation, realizing that I'm not healing to become whole. I'm healing to remember who I was. So the important things to walk away with is, empaths, you're not here to blend in. You're here to retune the vibrational frequency of the planet. And yes, of course, you went through pain that may have muted you and the trauma that led to forgetfulness, but your memory is still there in your fascia, in your breath, and in your dreams. And you're not recovering, although you are returning to your awakening. You're remembering, pulling together every scattered piece of your divine being from fragmentation to wholeness. Because you're an empath who comes directly from source and you're encoded with frequency that is beyond what most people understand. And the fact that you doubted it proves just how powerful it is. If this resonates with you, type transform in the comment section or send me a message at nan@innermanage.com. And know that if you're ready to remember and you're done negotiating with distortion, then you want to type transform and let us know how we can help you, because this is not just coaching. This is about soul reclamation, Let us walk you home to yourself. If this resonated, remember to like, share, and subscribe, type transform, and recognize there's no one like you. Peace.